Yeah, you know, so fast forward, Hot 105, Phil Jones, and then I just kind of, I used to do my little radio show, and then I stopped doing that with Phil, and I continued doing a few more clubs. I did in the Penta, and I did like, I don't remember, man, like it was a bunch of little spaces, man. I don't even remember the clubs, and I have to kind of.
But was Ron your manager getting you those jobs?
Not that time. He wasn't our manager yet. Ron May didn't become our manager until after me and Wayne linked up, which was like around, I think me and Wayne linked up in like 88, 87.
Because he was still doing Gigolo Tony projects in 88.
88, so around 88.
Tony came out and said, you know, Crash had joined the Whiz Kids.
Yeah, he was doing both, and he just decided to just leave that and just go into Whiz Kids, which wasn't my influence because I always thought he should be able to do both anyway. Like I thought that was kind of cool that he could live in both worlds. You know, but
so
yeah.
88's a year of security.
Huh?
88's a year of security.
80.
Club. The Beat Club
security. Yeah, did that come out? 88?
It was either 88 or 89, right?
I think it was 89, man. I think that might have been 89. Yeah. 89. Yo, so me and Wayne got together. You know, the editing thing was like, I did mine first. I used to edit, and then I taught Wayne how to edit. No, actually, I taught Ron how to edit. That's funny, because Ron taught me, like, certain things about mixing. He showed me some things about mixing, because oh man, me and Ron started hanging together more than Phil, because Phil was a little bit more socially awkward and he was more introvert. So he's quiet. He'll sit around you and he won't even say anything. You won't know what he's thinking, and he's just one of those people. Unless you really know him, he'll talk a lot, but other than that, like, yeah, so me and Ron used to hang together. We used to just hang, so we became like really good friends. And actually, he was one of my best friends to this day. And then me and Ron, I taught Ron how to edit. And then, because I got a reel-to-reel at home, I showed him how to edit. He showed Wayne how to edit. And then he put us together, and he was like, I'll manage you guys. It just wasn't like, I'm gonna put you guys together and I'm a manager. It just sort of happened. It was like, it was really organic. It just happened. Me and Wayne got together. We admired each other because I was amazed how fast he picked it up. And then we went, then we started, I think the first thing we did was, we took Give It All You Got. What was the first record we did? Was it Will to Power?
Every time I go shopping, I find more, and I'm like, how did they do this many records? I don't know where your discography begins. It's Straight A Productions.
Yeah,
A+ Productions.
Straight A's Productions. Straight A's.
And that was when it was just you and Ron, right?
Yeah, not really. I mean, me and Ron really never. He sort of managed me in a way, but it wasn't really. Cause I think I did a couple. I might have did one edit before Wayne, and then me and Wayne got together, and it was like it was over after that. I think we did it wasn't Stevie B first. No, we used to do mixes, man. We just did a bunch of mixes, and we would just, give them out, whatever, and one of them got to Derek. We did this edit of Give It All You Got, and Bob heard it. And Bob was like, yo, and Derek called us. Derek said, yo, listen, man, listen. Bob wants you to work on this record, man, because we've been working on this album, and he wants you. I was like, what? I was like, Bob? Bob Rosenberg? That shit blew me. I was already a fan of his. Like his powerhouse mix is crazy. Bob was crazy, man. Like his mixes was insane. He just had the best. Two of my favorite, man, Phil, Bob Rosenberg, and they up there with Larry Levan to me. Like as far as like influential and Francois K.
Let me say this right now because you really touched on it. I think a lot of people don't understand the art form that's editing. A lot of people don't understand the club that's editing.
Yeah.
And it's in Miami, it's Bob Rosenberg, Phil Jones, the Whiz Kids, and the Blade Runners.
Yeah, the Blade Runners like. The Blade Runners was funny, man, because that dude, the one guy, he couldn't really edit. I met him at Hot 105. Actually, him and Phil was going to be together first. That's funny. Actually, Phil and the Blade Runners at first was Phil Jones, and I forgot the guy's name.
Okay.
But he was Albie, but he was a big cokehead, man. We found out later that he was like, wow, it's crazy, and he never could edit. Like we were like, yo, what? Like he would play us these records, and when it comes down to editing, it was weird. He would never do it. So it was like, yo, what is he doing? Like what? You know, when does he do it? Like we couldn't figure. It was like a mystery to us, you know, because it was like he's got to be able to do it. His name is on these records, but find out that was Omar Santana that was doing those records. So it's like, you know, like, because he never, like, look at the records they did. It wasn't, like, and look at the ones that his name on with Omar Santana. It's like they worlds apart, like, stratosphere, like, not even the same, they shouldn't even be in the same universe.
Talk about security, because the way you and I met was with Rob bragging that you had produced security. So what's your
okay,
role?
no, this what happened. Like, this what happened. We met, after we did the Wilton Powers, like Steve, it was just like all like everything. It was some momentum that was rolling, and then somehow it got to Pantera. Somehow Louis Martinet found out about us, and he was like, and you know how far Kendall is from Fort Lauderdale. That's like I think it's like an hour and a half drive. Like it's straight. So to go down there, it was like we went down there, but we really wanted to go, and we did the first record with him. He was kind of like the kind of producer though that didn't want. It's like, so we knew how he was. He was kind of a little control freak. So it was kind of like, all right, so we got to kind of we can't go in there like, you know, doing like multiples and shit like that. We had to kind of just work on arrangements, because that's pretty much he was more what he was concerned with. So we did mostly like just dealt with arrangements, and then like on the dub and like the B-sides, we would like do like, you know, get into like the tricks and shit like that, you know, but he didn't really like that, you know. I think by the time we had been working with him for a while, we took one record and we just went crazy with it. We took the dub mix, and he let that go, but it was hard. A lot of them he didn't. Actually, there's a lot of mixes that never got released because he didn't approve of it or whatever. He didn't. So there was a lot. So what happened was with Pantera, we started doing so much work with them. It was like, yo, listen, we was like, and Ron, we kind of all had a meeting, and Ron was like, yo, why don't you just take half the money up front, give us half the money, and the rest is studio time. So that's how we ended up going into the studio, getting like, you know, working with SSL Board, and like, because we had amassed this amount of time, and that kind of just, yeah, like that kind of just took it to the next level. So it was like, it was Louis Martinet after that, and then they were going to start their label, and the rap thing was starting to come on the scene. Now it's getting to the 90s, it's like 1990, you know, 1990, and working with Louis, and we're working with this, and
so security was.
Oh yeah, and then so I met Oni Rodriguez was with Voices in Fashion, which I love. I love that group. That was like my favorite out of all of the Miami. That's one of my favorite out of all that whole Miami sound. Oni just got like a feeling, man. He just got it. Like all his records sounded like that, like was good. But sometimes they would have to go through Louis. So I know Louis would kind of like he loves it. Like Oni loved 808, and for a guy for that kind of at the time, like somebody that was doing dance music, there really wasn't, like 808 was considered rap. So it was like for a guy, you know, it was like a big thing. He loved the 808, and so when he would do these songs like Only in the Night, you remember that record, right? That was a big record, had 808 in it, and I think if you hear, there's two versions. There's like a club mix, and then there's like some kind of another mix, and on the regular mix, the one that was played everywhere, didn't have the 808 because Louis, he would take that out. He didn't like that sound.